Hello, my name is Gregory Smith. This video is one of a series of videos on changes to Dynamics SL 2015. This particular video is on handling of negative payroll tax deductions and changes to the payroll review edit check screen. In previous versions of Dynamics SL, you could not put a negative deduction into the employee deduction record. In the Review Edit Check screen, after the payroll was calculated, you could do a negative deduction. However, if the item being changed was a deferred tax item, such as a 401k or tax-deferred health insurance, the system did not automatically adjust the taxes, nor did it adjust the earnings subject to the taxes. This meant that the user would have to manually adjust the taxes in the Review Edit Check screen, as well as the earnings subject to the deduction. This was fraught with errors and resulted in mistakes in the 941s and the W-2s. So let's see how they're handling it now in Dynamics SL 2015. The first thing we're going to do is go into Employee Maintenance and give an employee a negative deduction. In prior versions of Dynamics SL, you couldn't even set up the deduction as a negative in the employee maintenance screen. It would error out if you tried to do so. So we open the screen up. We're going to select Stephanie Bourne. Click on the deductions. We're going to go to the 401k here. And we're going to change this fixed amount, $500, to a negative $500, basically giving her a refund of $500 on her 401k on the next payroll. Then you'll notice that there's this comment field that's been added in Dynamics SL 2015. This field is to document the changes because the system is now keeping a history of all the changes to employee deductions and earnings. Okay, now we're going to go into the calculation screen, and you can see there's this new checkbox there called Allow Negatives, and we're going to select a pay group here and enter a pay period beginning ending date, normal calculation process that existing users are familiar with. And we're going to select just Stephanie for this demonstration. And we're done calculating. Now we're going to go into the Review Edit Check screen and see how it's calculated. Select Stephanie. And you can see there's the negative deduction for $500. If you look at the line item below that, Fed 1, you can see the earnings subject to federal income tax is $4346.15, which is the gross earnings, $3846.15, plus the $500 for the negative deduction. Normally a deduction would reduce the current subject to the deduction. Now we're going to go back into Stephanie's record and change her 401k back to a positive 500. And you notice that if I try to close the screen, ask me if I want to save the changes, whoops, it's going to remind me that I need to put in that comment. Again, a required field to document the change. So go ahead and make my comment. Close and save the screen. And I'm going to go back in and recalculate again. So this time it'll be her regular $500 deduction. And we enter the beginning pay date, ending pay date, or pay period ending date, and calculate gesture again. And that is done. And now we go into the Review Edit Check screen. And select Stephanie. And you can see it's got the $500 deduction. You can see for Fed 1, the earnings subject to the deduction is $33,4615. In other words, a normal payroll, the $38,4615 less the $500 tax-exempt deduction. Now, let's suppose we wanted to make the negative deduction right here. First of all, we want to make sure that this is checked. This right calculates subject earnings. We put in the $500, or change it to negative $500. It gives us a message. We're recalculating the subject earnings. Click OK. It'll tell us which deductions were changed. See, it's the Fed taxes, Medicare, Social Security, as well as, in this case, the company's matching portion of the 401k. So anything that's impacted by that deduction. Now, you can see the deductions actually haven't been changed, but if you click that Refresh Deductions, now you can see that the Fed 1 current subject deductions is up to the $43,4615. In other words, $38,4615 plus the negative 401k. And you also see the 401k company match has also changed. So, if you need to adjust a tax-deferred item after you've calculated, you can just come in to this screen and make the change. You can see it'll pick up and adjust any item affected by that deduction. Now, in this example, I changed the deduction from a positive to a negative, but I also could have simply reduced or increased the deduction. I'm going to go ahead and cancel these changes. And you can see it's now back to the $500 401k. And let's suppose instead we were supposed to take $600 out for 401k. So we just go ahead and change it to $600. See, it says it's recalculating the subject earnings, tells what is changing. And then we click Refresh Deductions, and you can see that it has the earnings current subject to the deductions has been changed, as well as any deductions that are impacted by that. For example, the match, and you can see that the current subject to deductions for the federal income taxes and employer and employee FICA has both been changed. And if you do the actual math, you'll see that the current amount has also been correctly calculated. As you can see in Dynamics SL 2015, Microsoft has made some substantial improvements to the way it handles negative payroll deductions, as well as providing the ability of the user to make changes to the deductions on the fly in the Review Edit Check screen, while simultaneously adjusting any deductions that are impacted by the deduction being changed, such as payroll taxes, etc. I am Greg Smith. I'd like to thank you for watching this video on the changes in Microsoft Dynamics SL 2015.